Velmi Ardred.
Welcome back to Lore from the Ivory Book. In this video, I want to discuss a theory I thought of while doing art for my last video, which is that there might be more than one cult in Silksong. So far, we know of at least one, which are referred to as the Bell cult. This cult was the one that captured Hornet and transported her from Hollowness to Pharloom. It is also speculated that this cult resides in the Gilded City, based on how the backgrounds look in the trailer. The main signs of this cult are bells, which some members carry around on staffs, and a face covering with the supposed symbol of Pharloom emblazoned on it. But what is this second cult? And why do I think they are a cult? Well, let me explain. If you pause the trailer here, you can see three enemies in what is presumably Greymoor. The first one is charging at Hornet with a large pair of scissors. But what I am more interested in is the two enemies above him. One of the bugs is carrying a staff, with two concentric rings and 10 spikes jutting out of it. The other bug is also in possession of a staff, except this one has a lantern hanging from it, which emits a red glow. Now, I am about to enter into some heavy speculation, so please take all of this with a glass of salt. With that out of the way, I will begin. One piece of evidence I have for these bugs being in a cult is that they all wear some sort of burlap or cloth covering over their heads. Now, this does not automatically mean that they are part of a cult, as this could just be common attire for the bugs of Greymoor. However, I do not think that this is the case. If we look at the Grim Troop, they all wear very similar attire to each other. I think that much like the troop, the bugs here wear similar clothing to signify that they are in a group together, or a cult. My second piece of evidence for the bugs potentially being in a cult is the symbol on top of the staff. I think that this denotes being in some sort of group, similar to how the bell staffs the bell cult possess denote them being part of the cult, or as being a higher citizen. This circle most likely has some sort of symbolic meaning to the cult, and I will speculate more on what it may mean later. So now that I have shown my evidence as to why I think they are a cult, I am going to speculate as to what their purpose is. Now, please keep in mind that I am pretty much just going to be guessing everything in this section, based off of what little evidence I have. With that in mind, I will continue. So in the trailer, you can clearly see giant cogs moving in the background. This clearly hints that there is definitely some industrialization here in what I presume is Greymoor. This, along with this screenshot from the Edge magazine article about Silksong, makes me believe that something is being built here, almost as if it is a factory. I have two theories as to what they are building, and these reflect their intentions. My first theory is that what I have been referring to as a cult is working alongside the Bell cult. The ore being mined down in the deep docks is being sent here, maybe so it can be refined or turned into something else. What that something else is could be the numerous amounts of bells we see everywhere, or automatons like the one we see in the trailer. It could also be something we haven't seen yet, but I am almost 100% sure that they are working on something here. Now, what are the issues with this theory? Well, for one, why the different symbol on the staff? If they are working alongside the Bell cult, why not use the same symbols? I have two ideas for this. My first is that while they are allied with the Bell cult, they are not allowed the same privileges, as the bugs here are deemed below them. Because they are denied usage of the Bell cult symbols, they have derived their own, potentially used to honor some sort of boss in this area. My second theory is that they are hired out by the Bell cult. Instead of working for the cult, these bugs instead worship some other power, and are merely hired by the cult in exchange for something. This could range from rosaries, to silk, to percentages of the ore's mined. Whatever is given to the Greymoor bugs is not important, merely that they are getting paid with something. Another problem with this theory I would like to discuss is why the bugs in Greymoor would be making the bells. From the dialogue of Forged Daughter seen in the demo, it appears as though she and her kind make fine crafts. Perhaps, however, this ancient line makes quality over quantity, while with the bugs of Greymoor it is the reverse. This could serve as an explanation as to why there are seemingly infinite amounts of bells everywhere, which would be very hard for Forged Daughter to make all by herself. Now, to my second main theory as to the cult's purpose. Instead of cooperating with the Bell cult, perhaps they stand opposed, and wish to fight back against them. This would serve to explain the different symbol on the staff, as the bugs would wish to distinguish themselves from the Bell cult. They could even stand as an ally for Hornet, and may force her to pick between them and the cult, which could lead to different endings of the game. This theory, however, is very unlikely for a multitude of reasons. First, The evidence implies that Graymore may be a factory-like setting, and one thing a factory needs to keep operating is material. It is shown in the demo that at certain bell calls, the workers must send up numerous ores. But this ore is for the bugs in the citadel. It is evidenced by the automaton in the trailer, which is shown to have silk threads pulling upward. If the puppeteer theory is to be believed, which I believe it is, this means that the automaton is working for someone in the citadel. If this is the case, why would materials be sent to Graymore? Perhaps the bugs of Graymore perform raids on these shipments, but there is no evidence for this. Also, if the material isn't headed towards Graymore, which resembles a factory, where is it going? I doubt the bell cult in the citadel would bother using it to forge things themselves, as they seem too uppity to get their hands clean. Overall, this theory of mine really just exists to explain the cult here, and I personally feel that my first theory on the bugs here makes more sense. For a recap. Several bugs in what appears to be Graymore wear different clothing and have a different symbol on their staff from the bell cult. If they work with the bell cult, this could be due to them having some other being they worship that resides in Graymore, or perhaps the bell cult only lets citizens of the Gilded Citadel join in their religion. They refused the bugs from Graymore entry into the cult as they are only factory worker, so the bugs here formed their own religion. Graymore also serves as an explanation for the many bells and the automaton, as it resembles a giant clockwork factory. Another possibility for this different attire and symbol could be that they work against the bell cult, and are trying to overthrow it. This would explain the absence of bells, and the symbol emblazoned on the cult's masks. To end this video off, I would like to remind you that this is all speculation. Please take what I say with a grain of salt. If you have any other ideas or any questions you would like to ask me, feel free to comment below. If you haven't, why not check out my other video? It's filled with about the same number of crackpot theories and tries to tie the wind into the lore. With this, I wish you all au revoir.